Need any help, officer? Cold sweat droplets dropped from my temple along with my courage. Who wouldn't feel this fear when they are being held on, especially when the person holding it asks with such apparent sincerity if there is anything they can do to help? As I said before, dangerously dangerous. He shoved the chilly cold muzzle into my temple a little more, sending chills in my whole body, and chuckled amusingly. You know how adorable you are? Not. But you should know one more thing. His tone went from playful to serious within a blink, causing me to slowly turn my face towards him unintentionally. I hate cute things, whispered in a cold tone. What do you expect from me? To fall in love with you when you are holding me hostage here? I'm sorry, but I don't have Stockholm Syndrome, mental disorder in which hostages develop a psychological bond with their captors. He laughed loudly at my remark and kept laughing until his laugh started to sound creepy and an unknown horror settled within me. It felt as if I was going to have a panic attack. I snapped out of my daze when he abruptly stopped laughing and forced me to grab her by grasping my slightly shivering hands in his firm ones. Here, press the trigger and end this game once for all. He grabbed her hand in his hard grip, pushed the muzzle in his chest, pointed it to his heart, and attempted to press the trigger, but she resisted. Looks like the police department snatched your ability to press the trigger without considering the consequences. Pathetic. I kept looking in his dragon eyes. Feels like drowning without water. My breath felt thick. I felt as if I was sick. It was suffocating, and he knew damn well what was going on with me. You can't shoot me, even if I am handing you the gun and a golden chance. Don't you think you have fallen in love with me? Put the gun down but kept holding her hands. I'm saving you to kill you at the appropriate time. Lies, whispered while looking down. All lies, suddenly shouted, making her flinch in her place. There's nothing like appropriate time. His gaze locked with mine, and I swear I just saw something in his eyes. I don't know why his eyes made me calm, the kind of calm that I never was, the sense of tranquility I never felt before. Am I just tired or is it something else? No, I can't be like this. Control your damn self, woman, mentally scolding herself. In phase of denial, I say, chuckled sarcastically, which made her frown. Why are you playing with me? What pleasure does it give you? Expressions of fatigue clouded her face as she asked him calmly. You don't have any idea, love, how pleasurable it is. Leaned in closer to her face, his minty breath fanning her nose. She didn't lean back, nor change her expressions. He slipped a loose strand of her hair behind her ear and whispered, Do you know Kim Kong-sun? Spoke while looking at her intensely with his face just a few inches away from hers. Huh? Tried to divert her attention away from their closeness and spoke while looking to the other side, away from his gaze. Kim Kong-sun? Thought for a while. Former inspector who received the Medal of Valor for his achievements, but later was declared as a betrayer for his extremely corrupt doings and sentenced to death in 2008. chuckled sorrowfully and leaned back. They are so afraid of the truth. Shook his head amusingly while looking down. She gave him a confused stare, yet her gaze told about the unintentional interest he holds in listening to his tale of sorrow. It could be anything but a betrayal. You know what his crime was? Misogynistic, just like you. He looked in her eyes again and held the eye contact as he held her breath. He continued after sighing deeply, as if he is gathering the courage to carry on. He saved lives without thinking of the consequences. Almost died for saving them, yet he kept doing his thing anyway. Until one day, the people he saved became the reason of his demise. Higher authorities and hated him for standing in their way of corruption, and they hanged him till his soul departed his body. But you know what hurts more? That tag of betrayal, when all he bled was loyalty. While telling all his, no clear expressions crossed his face, yet the agony in his voice indicated that he was telling the story of his own demise. How can you be so sure? Every evidence was against him. And why are we even discussing him in this situation? She gestured to both of them sitting by the table of his dark office, while he held a revolver, and she sat in front of him, seemingly defenseless and oddly comfortable. I knew him closely. So closely that I could feel his suffering. When his soul left his body, mine left me too. One lone tear rolled down his eyes and he wiped it quickly before adorning his face with hard expression once again. It's hard to believe when your closed ones take the wrong turn. She tried to comfort him with the bitterness of harsh reality, but little did she know that she was wrong this time. Taehyung abruptly rose from his position, knelt over her, towering above her obviously small figure compared to his beastly one, grabbed her shoulders and shook her while roaring loudly. My father was not a betrayer. Do you get me? He was not a betrayer. Next veins popped out in him. A brief moment of silence following his outburst helped her realize the extent of his agonies. He regained control of his emotions and slowly left her shoulders before sitting on his previous place again. Spoke half-heartedly without looking at her properly. I'm sorry for venting out on you. I know you don't care as it's none of your business. You are the son of a police officer. How did you end up like this? Her question made it clear that she is taking interest in knowing him more, and when she herself wants to know him, then who is he to not to respect her interest? Ended up like what? Looks at himself and chuckles slightly. Ended up better than everyone else? Gave a proud remark about himself. Your father gave his life while fighting for the truth, and you wasted his sacrifice by becoming the person he fought against his whole life. You can never think good of me, can you? Rolled his eyes and shook his head while staring at her disappointingly. Did you give me any reason to do so? Raised her brow tauntingly. Taehyung sighed and extended his hand towards that locker, which had the fingerprint lock, which Wine was trying to open just few minutes ago. He opened the locker and drew out that red file. He extended the file towards her, causing her brow to furrow in absolute uncertainty. She hesitantly took the file from his hand and opened it. Vine's POV. My heart sank in the pit of my stomach as I read through the pages. There was all information about illegal human. This business involves several mafia groups and high authorities. They were even funding this activity across the borders. The file contained all of their internal contracts. My hands trembled upon witnessing the magnitude of their cruelty. I always wanted to become a police officer like my father, but after witnessing his humiliating death and witnessing my mother being in front of my eyes while all I could do was cry without making any noise. Since my mother had hid me in a closet, I decided to run away from my room, which had become my worst nightmare. And do you know what was the final straw? When they tagged me, a 13 years old boy, as a betrayed son and attempted to kill me as well. They pushed a good boy too far and made me the person I am today, the Mafia King. Scoffed. I slowly raised my eyes to look at him and found him already staring at me. I couldn't help but swallow and close the file. My mind is in chaos. I am a mess. Is he planning to kill me? Which is why he is telling me everything. Because there is no way in hell he will let me leave after telling me everything. He seemed to read my thoughts once again, so he spoke to clear my uncertainties. That day, you didn't walk into that club only. You walked straight into my heart. I've liked you since that moment. You know why? Because you are the female version of my father. Powerful, confident, fearless, honest. You are what I could not become. You are my dream, my fantasy. That's why I love you. What are you going to do with all of this information? So you ignored my confession? That's fine. Let's talk business then. Nodded his head, understanding her interest. She looked to the other side as she found her heart skipping several beats. As for the first time, his presence was doing things to her heart she don't wanna name. The main path of this export is the sea, and all the seaports are kind of in my possession. But still, they are doing this business under my nose. First, I'm going to stop their business and then move forward to demolish their existence within the country. But it will take a lot of time and lives. He gave her a brief overview of his vision, which bewildered her much more than before. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Pretending to be a hero. Oh, hello, miss. Who's pretending here? Not me. I was born to be a hero, says the villain, coughed as she jerked her head sarcastically. He genuinely laughed at her comment, but went serious as he noticed her piercingly cold gaze. She raised her one brow, still asking him the same question through her eyes, that why is he doing all of this? Sighs. I wanted to burn this country, but you know what stopped me? This patriotism in my blood. My dad gave his life for ending their dirty game, but I can't do the same mistake. So I changed the plan. I decided to take their lives to put an end to their nastiness. She blankly stared at him and sighed as now everything around her made sense and made her confused at the same time. Taehyung stood up from his place, put the revolver in the back pocket of his pants, and offered his hand to her for support. She looked at his hand and then at him, still hesitant to trust him as she don't want to get manipulated by him again. It was never you against me, Mani. It was us against the system. But you never realized who was on your side and who was against you. Without wasting time, she grabbed his hand and stood up with such a force that she lost her balance. But he was quick enough to support her and save her from falling by wrapping his hand around her waist. But Tai being Tai, how could he let this chance go to waste? He pulled her close to him, pretending as if he is protecting her from the fall, but she was well aware of his intentions. She placed her hands on his hard chest and spoke while maintaining their closeness and eye contact. This playful nature of yours can make you lose your focus. Your own people are waiting for an opportunity to bring you down. Yet here you are, wasting your time. Taehyung looked at her amusingly yet again and smiled. Are you worried about me? Your best friend, Jungkook, is an agent. She was astonished by her own actions, as she tried to protect him without considering whether he was gaslighting her. Her heart betrayed her yet again, and she was willing to take every risk in his matter. I know, smiles. Huh? Feroz her broke, being perplexed. I know he's an agent. Calm. Aren't you going to do something about it? Unaware, her fist tightens on his chest in tension. Stockholm Syndrome? Smirked. She slapped his chest and pushed him away slightly. I'm just concerned since you're doing this all for a good cause. Glares at him. Thank God you finally admitted that you are worried for me. Now I can sleep peacefully at night. What a good day to be alive. Give dramatic, grateful expressions. She gave him a silent stare, emphasizing how serious she is about this matter. When he became an agent, I was the only one he informed. His and my father were colleagues. His father was fired from work when my father was declared as, you know, couldn't say the word betrayal as it hurts him. He continued. His father died shortly after. We grew up together. And Jimin's mother raised us. Me and Jimin had to become like this in order to survive the poverty. However, we urged Jungkook to fulfill his father's last wish. He wanted Jungkook to become an officer, which he did. What if one day he betrays? Our goal is same, and it makes it easier to achieve. Smiles, don't worry. Kissed her cheek tenderly. After a few minutes, she came back to the reality and slapped his hand away, while gently pushing him away as well. Don't fly so high. I'm not worried about you, I'm just hungry. Cook me something, as maids are sleeping. Ordered him with full authority. And why would I cook for you? Trying to get on her nerves. You kidnapped me, so I'm your problem now, told him sternly while pointing her finger towards him. Yes, you're mine. Your what? Asked while glaring. Problem? My problem. Scraped the back of his neck while smiling nervously. She went out of the office as if nothing had happened, and he followed her from behind, smirking a little.